Hey, good morning. I just wanted to create a video to go over the rhetorical reading notes for Dorothy Wordsworth, as I've gotten a number of questions about it, really good questions actually, about the Dorothy Wordsworth piece, which is a journal entry. And so there's a lot of questions about how do I look at a rhetorical situation of a journal? You look at it just like you would any other text. So on the screen behind me here, I've got the rhetorical reading notes open. You might want to open them and go along with them with me while we're going through some of these points. So first, rhetorical situation deals with context, structure and appeals, purpose, and main claim. When we think about the context of a journal is written within a context. So you could do a little bit of light research, but think about who was writing this, what was she doing, what was Dorothy Wordsworth doing with her day, who was she, and then think about where was the source text originally published, how long were her journals, was her journal. So we've got just a piece of it, but how long is that journal? When was it written? And also think about kind of why was it published and who published it, how long after her death was it published. And when you're thinking about, when you get to the piece about audience, think about who was she writing this to? Did she ever intend for this book to be published? Likely not. And so who was she writing it to? Was it just for herself, like most journals are? Or was it also to her brother? Just so you know, Dorothy and Williams Wordsworth are brother and sister. That's really important to know. When you think about historical circumstances, think about the time that she was living in. Also think about her brother and what he was doing. And these are quick Google searches. Just click in Dorothy Wordsworth Grassmere Journal and you'll get a Wikipedia. There is a Wordsworth website that has really short snippets of information. There's a lot of information out there for you to read and to understand a little bit of the context. And then think about the structure. A journal has a structure. How is a normal journal structured, and how is this particular journal structured? How did she break up her entries? So you want to think about that, and also think about the language. Does she write complete sentences? Does she write incomplete sentences? Does she use certain flowery language? Is she descriptive? Does she use any certain words over and over again? So really think about how does she write this and what sort of language. And that's important when you think about the fact that the reason why we've paired Dorothy Wordsworth and Williams Wordsworth together is because Dorothy writes about the daffodils, and then William read her journal and wrote a poem based on her observation of the daffodils. That's extremely important to understand, and it'll help you give you a clue as to who else might have been her audience when she was writing this. When you get to logos, think about whether or not she does have any logic at all. You might find some, you might not. If there isn't any logical, if there aren't any logical appeals in here, then just, write the sentence, there aren't any logical appeals, and you would leave that blank. But there are ways to build logic. Is she talking about what she had for breakfast or any choices that she was making? There might be logic in how she describes those choices. So kind of think about it in that regard. And then pathos, what emotions does she intend for her audience to feel? Remember that pathos is not just the emotions that you feel when you read something, it's the intent behind that. Did the author intend for you to feel an emotion? So if you laughed, did the author intend for you to laugh, or are you laughing because of your own personal sense of humor? So when we talk about pathos, it's really about the intent. Did the author intend for you to feel an emotion? And then when we go to the purpose, there's always a purpose in why we write something. So what is her purpose in writing this journal? And again, that comes to the audience, is in that purpose section. And then claim. What is she claiming about her life? What is she claiming about the environment around her? She is making claims. Everybody makes a claim when they communicate. It might not be a claim like she's arguing something, but definitely she's claiming something about her life. So what is that? When you go to the response section, then this agreement and disagreement, think more about what captures your attention and write about that. So you can write a more general response here, or anything that confuses you about a journal. You can even think about, in this, you can kind of think about the discussion for this week and think about how do you agree or disagree with the way that William Wordsworth is using her journal to write his own poetry? So you can definitely think about that. If you think about that, I want you to read the very short Wikipedia entry where it quotes her attitude about William's poetry. So it's the Dorothy Wordsworth Wikipedia entry. You might want to take a look at that. That might help you out a little bit. And then when you're writing down the key ideas, kind of think about some of the key things about her life and write about that. So I hope that this video has helped you think about those rhetorical reading notes a little bit more and helps you to complete them. Again, they are due Wednesday night at 11:59. Have a great day.